Mr. Mangalam, what's the next step? The Congress says they will fight this out politically and legally. Legally, not many options now. You'd have to approach the Supreme Court.
Legally, the logical next step is to approach the Supreme Court. I believe the legal team is getting ready for the same. Politically, I think the more we speak about what has happened and all the events that led up to Mr. Gandhi's conviction, as well as the context of the judgment that has come out, the contents of the judgment, rather, excuse me, people will make a decision on their own. I mean, I think the ultimate court here is the court of public opinion. And the more you see this sort of large conspiracy where BJP supporters, BJP office bearers from all over the country are filing defamation cases at the drop of a hat against Mr. Gandhi, you can tell that this is a concerted attempt at basically trying to throttle his voice. And that's because he has been the most vociferous and fearless voice in and outside of Parliament against the government.
But, you know, Mr. Mangalam, the question is, there was an opportunity for Mr. Rahul Gandhi, for someone who openly comes out and says he has absolutely no ego. If there was an apprehension that he offended a particular community, and he says he has he had absolutely no intention of. But if there was an apprehension, there was a window given to him to apologize, which he didn't.
Why should he apologize for something that he believes is not wrong and that we believe that he has done no wrong? I mean, the whole principle, the first precedent for a defamation case is that the individual who has been affected is the one who's actually supposed to file the case. And here you have this sort of amorphous, undefined body that has filed the case. You have no evidence of malice. You have no evidence of loss or, suffering of the individuals concerned due to defamation. The fundamental precedents of criminal defamation have not been satisfied in the case. And you're asking him to apologize. You don't apologize when someone alleges or accuses you of something where you've done no wrong. So I don't see a reason why he has to apologize at all.
No, at that point of time, and I want to bring in Rashid Kidwai as well and Parajita Sarungi into this conversation. At that point of time, the intention was, if inadvertently he has hurt a certain community, in this case possibly the OBC community represented by the surname Modi, then why not apologize and get on with it? He would not have invited the defamation in any case then, because there was a window for him to apologize. But Rashid Kidwai, before we cut across to go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Make your point.
No, I just want to let you know that if you go back to how this case even proceeded, the complainant himself got a stay on his complaint and waited a full year before the bench changed so he could get it in front of another magistrate and get a favorable verdict for himself. So you can see that there's an entire plan laid out on to convict him. I don't think any sort of apology in any sort of time frame would have stopped them from going ahead with what they wanted to do to begin with. This all happened, and this entire case that was in abeyance was awakened only because of the speech that Mr. Gandhi made in Parliament exposing the Gautam Adani Modi nexus.
All right, I want to bring in Rashid Kidwai into this conversation. Rashid Kidwai, the sheer fact, of course, the legal team is going to go about its business, which is to now approach the Supreme Court, and in all possibility, keeping in mind the nature of the case, that in 162 years of the existence of the IPC, never has anyone been given a full term of 2 years for defamation or slander. In all probability, legal framework-wise, he should get reprieve at the Supreme Court level. That aside, Rashid Kidwai, the question is, the Congress working. Now, what is the thinking of the Congress? Because there clearly is an attempt to build Rahul Gandhi as an ideological figure and possibly less of a political figure going forward.
Yes, so I think the Congress has to make up its mind whether they want to fight this case as a legal battle or as a political level. If it's a political level, then Rahul has to suffer some kind of hardship, and it can be disqualification, it can be jail, it can be a mix of two, and then he can be a leader at large. He may not be a prime ministerial candidate, etc., and that can bring, there is a silver lining that can bring some kind of cohesiveness in the opposition unity, etc. But the problem is that what we are seeing repeatedly, Preeti, is that a mix of both. So every time there is a hearing, see, there is a distinction between how the courts operate. We can go on questioning them, and what is the kind of political conspiracy of it in kind of, entangling and framing of Rahul Gandhi. The Congress is not able to, explain this properly. to the voter or to the masses. So there is element of confusion. Preeti, 2019, I remember when Lok Sabha elections were going on and there was a case about Rafale and Rahul Gandhi had made some observation. Each time there was a polling day and it would coincide. The Congress lawyers kept kind of debating about whether the word should be apology or regret or some kind of thing. Now these are technicalities. So Congress should not get into technicalities if it wants to make a political battle out of this. The mixed approach is proving to be very costly for the Congress because average voter, average viewer of your program cannot make a distinction. So they look, there is a setback by the court. So there must have something must have gone wrong. So there is a case between court and a political party, that being the BJP.